Sometimes a relationship doesn't fall apart overnight. It breaks slowly, quietly, in moments so small you almost ignore them. But those moments matter. They reveal the truth long before the breakup ever happens. For the next few minutes, focus. Because if you recognize these signs early, you can protect your peace, protect your heart, and take control of your future. The first sign is emotional silence. Every strong relationship is built on emotional exchange. But when the connection fades, the communication fades first. She stops sharing her day. She becomes short, distant, and uninterested in your world. You ask how she's doing, and she gives one-word answers. You try to open up, and she seems distracted or cold. Emotional silence is not an accident. It's a shift in her internal world. When a woman starts shutting down emotionally, her mind is already pulling away. Psychology calls this emotional withdrawal, and it usually happens weeks before any breakup. When she no longer feels safe with you or no longer wants to invest in the bond, she stops letting you into her inner world. That silence is telling you something you need to hear. The second sign is the disappearance of effort. Relationships thrive when both partners show up. They communicate, plan, try, and care. But when the relationship starts falling apart, the effort becomes one-sided. You notice she replies later and later. She stops initiating plans. She doesn't check on you the way she used to. She used to ask if you ate, if you reached home safely, and if you were okay. Now she barely reacts. It's not that she is too busy. It's that her energy is shifting away from you. A woman's effort reveals her true priorities. When effort dies, the connection is already fading. Men need to understand this. Effort is never random. It's emotional investment disguised as action. When the action stops, the investment is already gone. The third sign is a hidden one that most couples miss. This is the beginning of emotional comparison. When a relationship starts breaking down, people don't always cheat physically. The cheating starts emotionally. She begins comparing you to someone else. Maybe a coworker who listens more. Maybe a friend who understands her. Maybe an old connection who suddenly reappeared. Emotional comparison is dangerous because it shifts the reference point. Instead of focusing on fixing the bond with you, she starts imagining a different bond with someone else. She starts noticing everything you lack, everything you don't do, and everything she wishes you were. This creates emotional distance even if nothing physical ever happens. When a woman begins comparing, she begins detaching. Most men don't notice it until it's too late. The fourth sign appears in the small moments of daily life. It's irritation. Not normal frustration, but the kind that seems unfair, unexpected, and exaggerated. You say something simple, and she reacts sharply. You ask a harmless question, and she gets annoyed. Her patience shortens, her tone changes, and her energy becomes tense. Irritation comes from emotional conflict. Her heart is torn between staying and leaving. She feels guilty, confused, or pressured. That emotional discomfort becomes irritation, and it gets directed at you. Psychology calls this displacement. When a person can't express what they truly feel, the emotion leaks out in other ways. If she gets irritated by things she used to laugh at, the bond is weakening. The fifth sign is emotional replacement. Human beings cannot live without emotional support. When the connection at home weakens, people naturally look for support somewhere else. It doesn't mean cheating. It might be a friend, a coworker, a cousin, or even social media. You notice she shares her problems with others instead of you. You notice she texts someone else when she's upset. You notice she gets advice from people who barely know her, instead of the person who sits beside her. This shift is critical. When she replaces you emotionally, it's because she no longer sees the relationship as her safe place. A partner who becomes emotionally irrelevant is a partner who is already being replaced on a deeper level. The sixth sign is the loss of future language. In healthy relationships, couples talk about plans, vacations, goals, dreams, and next steps. When the relationship weakens, future talk disappears. She stops saying, "we." She stops imagining things with you. She stops planning next month, next week, or even this weekend. Her language becomes present only. No dreams, no visions, no shared direction. This isn't accidental. The human brain avoids making long-term plans with someone it no longer trusts. When she stops including you in her mental future, she has already started preparing to move on. The seventh sign is the most painful one. It's emotional numbness. This is when arguments stop, reactions stop, and the fight disappears. People think arguments are bad, but silence is worse. Arguments mean the person still cares enough to react. Silence means the heart is shutting down. When she stops defending, stops explaining, and stops caring if you understand her or not, the emotional bond has collapsed. This numbness is the final stage before detachment. The relationship is still alive on the surface, but emotionally, it's gone. Now here's what most men don't realize. These signs don't mean you're a failure. They don't mean you're unlovable. They mean the emotional connection has weakened, and both partners need honesty, not avoidance. Relationships fall apart when people ignore the truth. They heal when people face it. You can't control her feelings, but you can control your response. You can either chase a bond that's collapsing, or you can rebuild yourself into a man who no longer depends on someone else's emotional presence to feel complete. Every strong man understands something powerful. A relationship can be a blessing, but your identity cannot depend on it. When you notice the signs, don't fall apart. Stand up. Breathe. Look at the situation with clear eyes. Emotional silence, loss of effort, irritation, comparison, emotional replacement, future disconnection, and numbness are not signs that you are worthless. They are signs that something deeper needs attention. You have two choices. You can panic, cling, chase, and lose even more respect. Or you can pause, reflect, and rebuild your strength. Women are drawn to emotional stability. They trust men who stay calm when things get difficult. They trust men who communicate clearly, who lead themselves first, who take responsibility, and who stay grounded. Strength is not about forcing a connection. Strength is about staying centered even when the connection is at risk. If the relationship can be saved, it will be saved through clarity, honesty, and emotional leadership. But if it cannot be saved, you must be strong enough to walk away. Every man needs to understand this. Losing a partner is painful, but losing yourself is worse. Relationships fall apart, but strong men rise from the pieces. You are capable of rebuilding your life. You are capable of finding peace again. You are capable of attracting someone who chooses you fully, consistently, and without hesitation. Your value doesn't decrease when someone stops appreciating it. Your strength doesn't disappear when someone stops recognizing it. The end of a relationship is not the end of your story. Sometimes it is the beginning of a stronger, more powerful version of you. A version who understands boundaries. A version who respects himself. A version who chooses peace over chaos. A version who refuses to let emotional neglect define his worth. If the signs are appearing in your relationship, listen to them. Not to blame her. Not to blame yourself. But to understand what needs to change. Either the relationship evolves, or you evolve out of it. Either way, you move forward. And forward is where your true strength lives.